All right, guys, I'm here with my good friend and home inspector, Josh Trotter. So today he's going to show us around this beautiful house and tell us, some things to look out for in a home inspection. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, good deal, good deal. But before we get started, I gotta have some protection, I guess. Like, is that
I didn't get protection. Why did you get protection? I didn't get it.
You don't wear a hard hat?
I don't wear a hard hat.
All right, let's go.
Anybody could fall through it.
I'm not going in there.
No, I'm not going.
So people ask me all the time, they're like, Josh, did my house pass or did it fail? Well, so when it comes to a home inspection, there is no pass or fail. What we do as home inspectors is we come in and we check all of the major components of the home and see if there are any deficiencies, see if there's any areas that need attention when we come to your home. And the client is always either welcome to be there or they're welcome to show up later at the end, however they feel comfortable. But we'll start on the roof and we'll check all of the roofing system and all of your vents, make sure your roof and your attic have proper ventilation. Then we'll go to the exterior of the home and we'll check in this case, we'll check the bricks, make sure there's not any signs of any step cracking or any settlement or any foundation issues. And not every crack is a foundation issue. A lot of people ask me, they're like, why do you have extensions on the end of your downspouts? Well, the bottom of a downspout is actually designed for you to hook up pipe to it. Follow me and I'll show you one. So when it comes to a downspout, you naturally have the curve on the end. A lot of people will leave the curve and just let the water flow to the ground. Well, this curve right here is actually intended for you to hook up corrugated pipe to it to run rainwater away from your structure. So when you do not use the corrugated pipe, what you'll have here is settlement and water building and pooling in an area, and it will eventually, over a period of time, it can lead to structural problems and settlement.
Hang on, so I don't need these?
So also on the exterior, we also check out any type of deck or porch or any type of railing. We always check to make sure there's no rot, make sure everything is built correctly, make sure it's fastened to the home properly. One of the things that I can see here on this, there's no railing here. So on the exterior of a home, if there are 4 or more steps, it is required that you have a rail with guide rails. That's one of the things we would consider this a deficiency because it would be a risk for pets or small children to fall and possibly get hurt. So another thing that we look for are rotten boards. As you can tell, this one right here is deteriorated, and I would list that as in need of repair. Potential hazard.
Yeah. A little dog could fall through there, huh?
Anybody could fall through it. So when it comes to the windows on the exterior, one of the things that we like to look for is it properly sealed? I know the crack may not look very large, but anytime you have wind and rain together, any type of crack that you have on the exterior of your home is a potential for water intrusion, which would lead to eventually rotting and possibly mold inside the interior.
I'm not going in there.
No,
you going in there?
I'm not going in there.
You're not.
I go in there every day, man.
Every day,
I go in there all the time.
I don't go in there every day.
So one of the things as a home inspector that we do, unlike the realtors, they won't go in there. He just said he wasn't going in there. I don't know why. So we go in the crawl space if the home is on a crawl space, and what we look for in there is number one, does it have a moisture barrier? And that is a barrier on the ground to separate the soil from the crawl space. And one of the many things that we look for in a crawl space is we crawl every corner back and forth 3 to 4 times. Sometimes they happen to actually be crawling on our belly doing it, which is okay. But we look for any type of plumbing problems, any type of water intrusion, if there's any standing water in a crawl space. We also look up at the sheathing, the flooring of the structure, and make sure there's not any sagging or any staining from any water intrusion, maybe from a leaking toilet or leaking shower pan, anything like that. We also like to check out all of the wiring for the home, make sure everything's adequate. We always take off all the panel covers and make sure that there's no scourging, make sure there's no incorrect size wiring. So when it comes to the interior, we normally like to start in the kitchen area. We always check out the sink, we operate the dishwasher, we make sure all the stove and oven are operating properly. We check for any leaks in any of the appliances, and we make sure all of the plugs are working properly, along with they are properly outfitted with GFCI plugs. We always check out everything as far as the shower is concerned. We make sure that the water is working properly, and we also like to make sure that the hot and the cold is on the proper side to prevent scalding. We also check out the pan, the shower pan, to make sure that there's not any leakage around, which would create trouble underneath the house. We don't often get in people's bathtubs, but sometimes it's just, you have to do it. You have to make sure that the jets are working properly and that there's a sufficient amount of warm water that can fill this tub.
Okay guys, stop what you're doing. Click the link and like and subscribe. And then also, like and subscribe.
Gotta do it.
What do you think?
So we're in the stairway of the home, and after further inspection, I have found multiple loose treads, and most importantly, no handrail. So we're in the attic of the home, and we like to look for proper insulation, make sure there's no leaks coming through the roof. Also, we like to look at all the furnaces, make sure everything's working properly, make sure it has proper drip pan. Just check everything out.
You go in this attic, every attic?
Every attic.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, I'd come in an attic about August.
You don't bring a fan?
No, sir. No.
A Pepsi?
No. Occasionally.
Okay.
Occasionally, yeah. So I appreciate you following along with us today. A home inspection actually is a 3 to 4 hour process. And I highly encourage you, if you are thinking of considering of buying a home, or even if you're considering listing your home and you want a pre-home inspection, call us.
How can they get a hold of you?
So there's two ways. You can give us a call. You can Google Pro Home Inspection, or you can look up www.trustprohome.com.
And once again, this is the amazing Josh Trotter.
Thank you.
That's what we did. All right, so every week we do a learning moment for you guys. This week's learning moment is going to be, obviously it's going to be about home inspections, because that's what the whole video has been about. So a home inspection is something that your realtor needs to ask for when he makes the offer. So make sure that he puts contingent on a home inspection so that awesome people like Mr. Josh Trotter can come out and let you know what's wrong with the house. Okay, but make sure that you add that contingency in there. Most of the time it's already in the contract, but that will protect you in the long run. So make sure your realtor does put that in there, contingent on a home inspection. All right guys, that's this week's learning moment. Stay tuned next week for more.